Public Works to order. Roll call, Alder Bellinger.
Here.
Alder Amy. Here. Alder Rust and Alder Peterson are both excused. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have one gentleman that's unfamiliar here, so I think we'll do real quick introductions. I'm Alder Dean Decker, Chair of the Committee from District 6.
I'm Alder Angela Ramey, District 5.
I'm Liz Majerus with the Legal Department.
John Bellinger, Alderman, District 2.
Joel Colsey, DPW.
Joe Curlin, DPW with the Parks.
Kevin Jump, DPW Engineering.
Travis Peterson, DPW Director.
Administrative Clerk Stacy Busseljack.
Okay, we'll go to number 5, approval of minutes from March 25th, 2025.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on those minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Those are approved. Item number 6, resolution number 96, 2425, a resolution authorizing the appropriate city officials to execute a memorandum of understanding with Friends of the Shaw Family Playground Incorporated regarding the terms and understanding between the parties with regard to the playground designed for use by children of all abilities.
I'll take this one.
Okay.
I'm working directly with attorney Robert Melzer on behalf of the Friends of Shaw Family Playground. We are very close to reaching an agreement that we can present to council, so I would ask that today you simply refer this matter to the 2025-26 council, and then we will be able to bring it back once it's ready.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. That's approved. Number 7, resolution 192-2425, a resolution authorizing the appropriate city officials to enter into a contract with Seller Brothers Construction for the 2025 annual sidewalk program. Kevin.
So this is our annual sidewalk program that we do every year. $200,000 was budgeted. As you can see, the low bid came in at about 141.
Okay.
We are exploring our options to maximize our 200,000.
Okay.
See where else we can use it, how we can use it, and still follow the intent of
So possibly.
the approvals by council.
So possibly doing other sidewalks in different sections to kind of make up that. 60,000.
Probably working maybe around the parks.
Okay.
Park areas that typically get ignored.
Okay.
Try and catch up with
Good.
some of those areas.
That's a good thing. Questions, concerns?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. That is approved. Number 8, resolution number 193-2425, a resolution authorizing the appropriate city officials to enter into a contract with Lalundi Contractors Incorporated for the construction of the North 6th Street and North 7th Street, Bell Avenue, North Avenue, 2025 street improvements. Kevin?
So this is in anticipation of TID 25 being approved.
Okay.
This work is immediately adjacent to TID 25. It's our typical mill and fill type project.
Mhm.
And includes about $224,000 of sanitary sewer improvements.
Okay. You put the laterals in, so everything's all ready to go for all the houses already,
Yep.
so they don't come back have to tear it down again.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. And we're working with the water utility. They're doing lead service replacements.
Okay.
The gas company, WPS, is going to be in there soon getting all their work done.
Okay.
So that once we pave it later this summer,
It'll be all,
no one else has to dig it up for a while, hopefully.
we hope. We hope. John?
Thank you, Chairman. TID 25 was approved yesterday. So that was approved. So I think we're good to go with this. So I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye. That is approved.
Was approved at Plan Commission, not through the council. Yes.
Number 9, resolution number 194-2425, a resolution authorizing the appropriate city officials to enter into a contract with Vinton Construction Company for the North Commerce Street improvements.
So this is part of the TID 21, getting ready for the mainline development.
Yes.
This project will relocate Commerce Street further to the west
Okay.
and create the bike path, recreate the Shoreland 400 bike path closer to the new road,
Okay.
develop a path around the mainline development,
Okay.
and do a large portion of the site cleanup of the contaminated soils on the mainline site.
I'm gonna get asked this question, so I'm gonna ask it. Are we saving bricks?
We are saving the bricks. Yes, we are.
Okay, because it's, I know it's gonna, people are gonna ask, so
Yep.
I'm just gonna ask it now.
The plan right now is to bring them all back here.
Okay.
I don't know where Joel's gonna find room for them all, but that's the plan.
Joel looks very happy about it. Just go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, I just had a comment about this and some of the other street improvement things. So I've been coming to these meetings for over a year now. My main goal has been trying to find out when do like street designs get reviewed or approved by committee. It doesn't seem like that is a thing from me coming to all these meetings. I would really like to see something like that to that effect, just because, you know, this is changing significantly the bike path. I mean, it's still gonna be there, that Shoreland 400 trail, but it's moving. It'd be nice to be able to review that, have some public input on stuff like that. And then some of the other ones on this agenda, like the, what was it, 7th Street, 6th Street, and then we had 25th, and there's another one between Meade and Washington, I think. So all those has like different amounts of crashes on them.
Mhm.
The 7th Street was super safe. There's only 3 crashes in the last 20 years. Feels like that's a really good, safe street design that has been created there. Probably don't want to modify that in any way. Doesn't sound like we are. But the other 2 are very wide streets, and there's been, in the last 20 years, on the 25th Street, there's been 27 crashes with injury. And then on the one between Meade and Washington, there's been about 21 crashes in the last 20 years that have resulted in injury. So I think this would be a good opportunity to review, are there improvements we can make to these streets for safety? So that's my only comment. I haven't seen anything where designs are reviewed for these streets or any safety review. I just feel like that would be an important aspect of DPW meetings to introduce those designs and approve those.
I guess I will add to that. So where does this come to as far as meeting our complete streets program, which is that narrowing of streets and things like that?
That, I believe that complete streets policy will mandate some involvement from this committee to
Okay.
review some of those designs.
Okay, and some of these have actually been kind of in the pipe for, this is kind of a little bit before.
Yep, and-
So this is, that's why they're really not reviewed now, it's more for the review for the future ones, is it
Yep.
more? Okay.
Yeah, and I've talked with Brian about this. And
Sure.
I agree, there's certain things that this committee should be seeing, maybe not necessarily approving, but definitely seeing and being made aware of
Yes.
as we get further into these projects.
Okay,
You know, a lot of these are generally mill and fills, they're just.
sure, you're not gonna be changing the design of the. but-
Correct.
But when you're doing a full rebuild, you know, you wanna be, doing that cognizant thing where we're doing that, giving it the road diets
Yep.
where they need, and things like that. Okay, anyone else, questions, comments?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, that is approved. Okay, number 10, resolution authorizing the appropriate city officials to enter into a contract with Cornerstone Pavers LLC for the 2025 street improvements, South 18th Street, Washington Avenue to Meade.
So this is a capital identified project. Originally, we were looking at an asphalt overlay on top of the concrete.
Okay.
As we got out there, we looked at it. Concrete's not as bad as we thought, so it'll be panel replacement, concrete repairs, much like we did on Calumet Drive
Sure.
north of Ely.
Yeah, okay,
Updating all the corner intersections, the ADA compliant.
okay.
I don't think there's any storm sewer work other than adjusting to match the new radiuses.
So just the panel work, but
Yep.
I like when you did that, I mean, I like what you did with County Driver, really, you know, you brought that road back to life without really, you know, without going, if you don't have to do that overlay with the blacktop, I think it's a better way to go.
Yep.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair will sign that is approved. Number 11, Resolution 196/2425, a resolution authorizing the appropriate city officials to enter into a contract with Pine Peterson Construction Company for the construction of the 2025 street improvements, North 25th Street, Superior Avenue to North Avenue.
Same thing, capital identified project. This one, we will be doing an asphalt overlay. We've determined that we can't salvage enough of the panels.
Okay.
What's a little more complicated about this one is it is a joint contract with the water utility to replace the water main from Superior to Cleveland Avenue. But that's all on their cost. It'll be a separate purchase order. The city won't see any of those costs, even as a pass-through.
Oh, okay, good, that's good. It's always good when we can do that and we can share it. Go ahead, John.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just curious, it seems like all these projects, all the same contractors are bidding all this stuff. Is there any kind of efficiency that we can get where if one contractor bid everything and have all the, or is the project's just too big and they don't have enough manpower and they can't get it all done in that season? I'm just wondering why, it seems like it all got spread out, which is fine, but I mean, I'm just wondering if there's any kind of economy of scale having these things when they're all bidding it.
I think if the projects were closer to each other, then it would work better to combine them into one bid package.
Okay,
Here, it gives everyone a chance, the other contractors a chance to sneak in. Maybe they can only do a portion of it, but they can give us a better price than someone that's gonna do the whole thing.
okay.
I don't know that there's always a savings by lumping everything together.
Yeah, I just saw that they were all kind of involved in all the different bids, so.
And I think the savings we would see is if the contractors can provide those prices, even as the separate bids, they're still trying to bid against everybody else.
Right,
Yeah.
So I don't know that we necessarily see the savings.
but if they were looking at a bigger package, then, I mean, there might be some additional, economies, I don't know if there would be or
I
not.
think just the being separate, I think some of that is lost.
Okay, yeah,
If they were doing 10th Street, 11th Street, and 12th Street consecutively, then we definitely see
okay,
a savings.
thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, and sometimes I think some would be too, that they're trying to fill in. We've got our guys set for the whole summer, but we got enough to be able to do this project, so we'll throw in for this one. We'll bid it a little lower because we want to be able to fill it so we can fill our summer. So, that, sometimes that can happen too, when it comes in some of those, I think. So,
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, that is approved. Number 12, number 187/2425, a resolution authorizing the city attorney's office to draft a facilities access rental agreement for use at the Uptown Social Building.
Thank you. So Uptown Social has been approached by a third party that is interested in utilizing some of its activity space in outside of normal business hours. We do not have the Uptown Social building currently available for use by others. We don't keep it open after normal business hours. So this resolution is asking that the committee and council authorize my office to develop an agreement, have the city administrator approve it, and then to offer that up to these third parties if more come, but certainly to this first third party to utilize the space. We envision that access would be granted and restricted via key card, just like it is for employees. That we would have things like liability waivers treated very similarly to how we treat park facility rentals, and with the exception of being the key card instead of like a physical key. And that's really all it is for now.
Okay. Question?
Yeah, thank you. Where does the money go?
Well, we didn't cover any fees in this resolution. And we put this resolution forward quickly so that we could make sure that it was available in time for use by this entity. I would anticipate that we have to establish a fee for the space, but again, that wasn't part of this. So I guess I can't answer that at this point.
Go ahead.
Follow up. And I'm going to assume that Uptown Social, the people who work there are all for that? Are their best
They-
interests are at?
They are the advocates at
They
this
are
point.
the advocates. Cool, thank you.
Go ahead, John.
Thank you, Chairman. So this is a one-off then? So
Well,
this isn't gonna be a template for, because there is no fee set.
there is no fee set. So for this one,
So-
I'll have to talk with Administrator Bradley about what type of fee would be appropriate for this current use. We would need to, what I envision is develop a fee structure if we're going to be offering this regularly that we can present to council for input and approval. My hope is that the document that I developed for this, which I've circulated a first draft, but my hope is that this document can be used as a template for other spaces as interest arises. I could foresee access to City Hall conference rooms or something along those lines being desired. I could foresee long-term, I know that the police department had a partnership with another agency to offer some office space in the building for operations that were compatible to police operations. So I could see this form working for that. If it's a limited use, if it's more regular use, then we would probably want something more substantive.
So, my question, so what's the, protocols is we're basically gonna let them into the building themselves, they're gonna be the ones totally in charge, we're not gonna have any city staff at all
My understanding,
monitoring them at all?
Yeah, my
I'm a little concerned about that, to be honest with you.
okay.
I mean, I think having city staff kind of, it's one thing that a park building has got limited, but this is a regular use, is really, especially City Hall, I would be very, very hesitant.
That's not on the table for today.
Okay.
That
I
was
know.
just me brainstorming
But I know,
long
but I'm
term.
just saying, I would really be very, very hesitant to let someone in City Hall without city staff, a custodian there to be on it. And even this, I'm a little, I mean, I guess we can see how it goes, but I'd be a little bit, apprehensive, I guess, to letting people just use the building without city staff, because I'm a little concerned about, possible damages and things like that.
Certainly. So I'm trying to account for that risk with the
Okay.
language in the agreement. But I'm also trying to account for it by using the key card access rather than a physical key, because each component of Uptown Social has its own access point,
Okay.
and that can be restricted.
Okay.
And then our lighting is motion detected, so we don't have to worry too much about people leaving lights on at the end of the day, but I am covering that. And if they plug in anything, I'm addressing that in the agreement, as well as that it's their obligation to clean up after themselves, put away their trash and recycling as appropriate, be on the hook for any damages or extra time necessary to clean up after these groups. And it does include an option for the city to terminate if the group is not complying with our expectations.
Thing I know with the school district, basically when it comes to rentals for the school, there's usually someone on board. There's usually someone, a custodian or someone in the building. Some school staff is in the building whenever we rent out, like any of the school buildings, so.
I think that's a great suggestion, and I'll
Yeah.
talk with
Yeah.
Director Rendell Araujo about that.
Okay, because I just think that, it doesn't necessarily have to be custodian, because any one of their staff or something like that, but I would, and that would have, and that fee would have to be included, to pay that person to be there would have to be included in part of the rental, so that we're covered for that also. But that's a thought that I would.
Can I do a follow-up?
Sure, go ahead.
Are you at liberty to say what group that is?
It's a theatrical group.
Oh.
They'd like to utilize the activity room, which I believe is the first room when you enter Uptown
Mhm.
Social, to do some
I
practices.
wonder if there was crossover, if there was people who were part of that group who are also part of Uptown
Sure,
Social. then-
yeah.
But okay. I move to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. That is approved. Number 13, Sheboygan Beer Garden discussion only.
All right, So what we wanted to do is update the committee on an agreement that came due with Power Pubs LLC for operation of the Sheboygan Beer Garden. And there was meetings with Administrator Bradley and myself and discussions with council. And we had gone back and forth trying to negotiate a better agreement for both parties. And we had 2 or 3 renderings, I think, Joe, we had gone back and forth with. And we finally came to an agreement with John Powers of Power Pubs LLC. And then there was one sticking point that kind of just ended it. And the sticking point was that, hopefully I state this right, he wanted to be the only entity able to operate a beer garden in the city limits. And then with the redevelopment of the marina, he also wanted to have first rights to be in that facility. And we could not honor that. And so that was kind of ended the discussions and the negotiation, and then Mr. Powers reached out and said he wouldn't be coming back. So at that point, we discussed and we decided, well, the recommendation is that we're going to go out for RFP for a different operator to come in. It's not to say that if Mr. Powers decided not to reach out to us again, we wouldn't work with him again. It's just that he ended it, said he wouldn't come back, so now we want to move forward, get an RFP out for a different vendor.
I guess we're very disappointed.
Very
Really,
disappointed.
very disappointed. This is a big iconic thing for the city. It really is. People come here for this. This is, I mean, it's a tourist draw. I mean, it's not, you know. So I mean, I guess what I can see where, you know, so was this a 1 year or a 5 year, or was this what was the agreement going to be looking at? I mean, for 1 year, I would have no problem with saying no one else is gonna be in the city as far as, you know, as far as, you know, so.
It was through 2026, and then with up to an additional 3 years after, if both parties, if we agreed on everything and whatnot.
So in other words, it'd be rolling, so every year we would be able to, again, so, because I would have no problem with us saying only, you know, because I don't see anyone coming forward that wants to do a beer garden in any one of our parks at all, or anything like that, so that I don't think should be a sticking point at all. First dibs on the marina, that's a little bit more of a different ballgame. I think, you know, he could definitely be part of a discussion for the marina, but I don't necessarily believe that we should give him sole rights to the marina as far as the beer garden there. I mean, you know, but to be able to have be able to bring us forward, I'm okay with that. But I think that's, but as far as, you know, keeping it as far as a 1 year deal, I don't think that's a problem. So
That's not on the table though, is it? He walked away.
Yeah,
So what's on the table is if we're gonna put this out for RFP, correct?
Yeah, we're updating the committee. After I had a discussion with Administrator Bradley about the outcome of this, he suggested that we just put together a summary, a memo, which you received, and just to notify you, update you. And our intent is to go out for RFP at this point. And if Mr. Powers wants to come back, you know, we've never said no. We'll absolutely entertain it. It's just that a lot of the ask, and then some of the initial meetings, it was like quite a lot of, you know, on the city side of it. So.
Well,
go ahead.
the two things were on the city side, right? That there was not gonna be another beer garden, and then they wanted first right refusal.
Those were the primary, but
Oh.
there were some other
There
issues.
was a number of other things that were discussed that we negotiated back and forth that kind of became sticking points, but the main two, yes, were the sole, you know, the only one allowed to operate in Sheboygan, and then first rights for the land or the marina.
And do you feel that DPW or those doing the negotiations felt that there was, to echo you, Dean, is there a lot of people banging down to open another beer garden? This was now we don't have one. We don't have one now. And that's really, and this is my district, and this is going to be, this is a real blow, and we're going to get a lot for that. So, as we should, because it was a jump.
So I'll just offer that there have been some pretty significant changes recently to Wisconsin's laws regarding alcohol licensing, premises, breweries, brew pubs, etc. So we're in a different environment this year than we had been in years past with potential interest. And in talking with Travis about this, I think this is an opportunity to maybe better develop that beer garden. Maybe there are some different amenities or some different food and beverage offerings that someone else might be willing to bring on board. Maybe we could bring in more locally brewed beverages. It's a blank slate for us. So we're not looking at this like we're done with the beer garden. We love the principle of it. We want to see that continue. It's successful. It's adored by the community. But we want to see what our options are to make it better.
Go ahead.
Well, I definitely encourage that we do try to get someone else in there, because I think that's, I can hear constituents not being happy about this. I mean, that's the thing I'm going to go echo with that. Go ahead.
Comment and a question if you'll entertain it. So I mean, we've got like some great options of people that could occupy that space, right? Like the Longhouse Axe Bar owner recently sort of shuttered his business. He might be interested. He's done a lot of things in the community. I mean, we've got Three Sheeps. Like, there's definitely some options out there for people that could be interested. You had mentioned licensing. Like, what challenges would somebody who maybe wants to enter this space have with licensing? I know there's like restrictions on how many licenses are allowed, so would this stay with the spot, or?
Oh, I am not the right person to answer to unpack that. What I'll share is that from my understanding, some changes were made in the laws that are more permissive for brew pubs to expand their operations and to open into markets where they had been previously restricted by the licensing limitations. Sorry, I don't have like a play-by-play of the different changes, but yeah, to your point, I think that, you know, if Three Sheeps or the Axe Bar or any of our local community members were interested in developing a beer garden, we have the location, we have the infrastructure, we're ready. We just need the staff and the passion for it.
I guess that's one of the question that I would have is also the infrastructure. You know, I know he put a lot of money and stuff like that into that stuff like that. What is ours? What is his? I mean, you know, I guess that's a question for Joe.
Anything movable
Yes.
is his. So yes, there's a lot of money that he invested in that's staying with the place. So a lot of improvements.
Go, John, for this name.
One of the, in the document related to this issue, one of the things was the conflict with Brat Days. Is Brat Days secured the date, and are they set to go, or is this not happening this year?
They have a one day.
Or Brat
is
Day.
going, yes.
Okay,
Yes, it will happen on that Saturday.
okay.
And we,
Because I know there were problems last year with it.
right, and we've had discussions with PD and city administration, and we've had a meeting with JCs about this and a couple follow-up meetings, and they assure us that they will, you know, a little off track here, but they assure us that they're working with a security group, and it'll be better than last year,
Okay,
is what we've been assured, so.
okay.
So one thing too, just so you know, when Liz was talking about permits and changes and everything, another point, which was, thank you for this too, but they'd come back not wanting to fulfill the insurance request on our part, which is comparable to other municipalities and what the state is looking at. And there was a bit of a sticking point too till we resolved that and he came on board. So there was a laundry list, to be honest, and it just got to a point where we was like, we need to come to the table on this. So, And then, like I said, we thought we had it. Verbally, he was okay, and then it came back to those two things which we just couldn't agree with. So,
Is there a plan for PR on this? Because I know that he's already posting on social media that he's no longer gonna be, serving, so I think, I don't know if there's a plan on how that word is getting out, and so I would highly recommend it, because I think it's a ding on the city. It doesn't, whether someone reads into all the things and all that, they're not going to, you know that, so, having some sort of something out there to explain would be advisable, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree.
we could work with administration and social coordinator, social media coordinator.
Yeah,
on
because
that.
it's already out there.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've received emails tonight already.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm getting emails, I'm sure you guys are getting emails
Mhm.
too.
Yes, and we'd rather have something that's gonna explain that we are, you know, why, like, you know, that there is, you know, there are some.
And that's why we
can't-
wanted to bring
yeah.
it forward, so we
Mhm.
could move forward with the RFP process a lot
Yeah.
sooner to get somebody in there.
And I do agree with the not, I mean, as far as locking him into the marina, I don't think, I would not agree with that at all. I think, you know, I think that he did that, just because he hasn't there, does not give him a right to be able to take that. I
Don't
think
begrudge him for asking, I would do the same
begrudge
thing.
him for
Just
asking.
want to make sure, just to make this clear.
Yes.
That was not part of the agreement. It's when we said that we just don't feel that we could provide exclusivity to you at this point because of what may happen at the land. The land was not part of the agreement.
Okay.
But then he said, well, why wouldn't I have first pick?
Mm.
So it had nothing to do with the agreement, but he wasn't understanding why he wouldn't have first pick if that was the reason. So it was just the point that he said, the city's not big enough to have more than one beer garden. If there was anything else in a public space, that'd be competition, and he's barely making it now. That's what he said. So he just wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, I see it as, like, for this year, I don't think it would be a problem, to be honest with you, but in the future, I guess, we would move it to the marina, or, you know, things.
And I tried to convince him of that, and I said, I can't say for sure, but, you know, it's probably, more than likely, it's 3 years down the line, but it
Exactly.
could be next year, it could be,
you
yeah.
know, for sure, we're not gonna have it this
Right.
year, I don't believe we would be, so.
It's walking distance.
Well, hopefully we can
hopefully
get somebody in there. with
I
the
hope so
RFP.
too.
Yes,
I
yes,
hope so
yes.
too. With the pickleball park?
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
Yeah.
I think with having the food trucks and everything down there, that was even more of a draw.
And
So
the future
cool.
dog park,
You know, so.
it should sell itself.
I know. Yeah, but I would PR, get in front of it, so just spin it some,
Yeah.
I mean, so it sounds accurate, I'm not saying
Yes.
spin it, but
Yeah,
what a great opportunity it is for us to see what other vendors
yeah,
there are.
yeah. Alrighty.
So there's nothing we could do on that?
No, this was just for discussion only, and anyone else have any other comments on
I
it?
had a question.
Sure.
Asher Heimerman here with Bernie Way. I'm one of the interested vendors proceeding with the beer garden, so I just wanted to know how soon would the request for proposal be put out? Could there be an opportunity to open up this summer season yet? Like, what's the time frame of this?
Well, we don't have a final date, but honestly, sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
We hope to have somebody this summer, if we still can do it.
Okay.
Because the dates would still be conducive. And in what we proposed, there wouldn't be any blackout dates.
I did see that. Yeah.
So we want the beer garden to operate full free of what may be happening around.
Mm.
So, end of the month, beginning of May, depending on get it through. I don't know.
RFPs start with you, so
Yeah.
however quickly you guys can turn it around.
Yeah, I mean, we've already been in contact with Bernie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of the original one kind of has to start over. All that information was lost in our IT thing. So Bernie's been on this for a little bit already, so I'm sure he's working on it.
So yeah.
I just didn't ask him for a timeline
Sooner
or give him one.
As a potential operator, I do have a security concern down there. Is there any security cameras tied in with the city in case of a break-in? just because it's such a remote area?
I don't,
He purchased his own, and then it didn't go anywhere, it's just to a monitor, to his own
Oh.
box there, where you
Sure.
download it then.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
All right, and that's the end of discussion, I believe, on that. Next reading date is to be determined. We need to, motion to adjourn Senate I.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, we are adjourned, we're done.